let's crack on with this. So, hello everybody, welcome into the next episode of the Goldenrod Challengers League podcast. I'm SpartanTano, I'm here with ChaoticEspeon, and if the keen-eyed amongst you will notice that Robo Retro has actually changed into Kuroce. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm good.
Thank you for receiving me. Nice.
You're more than welcome. It's really exciting to have you on here. Of course, you are the team captain of Plush Keepers. How have you been finding the league so far?
Surprisingly, I would say, because most of the team that joined at the start, like we knew a few name, like a few player name, but like the whole teams, we were not really familiar with them,
Hmm.
and we had quite a lot of surprise. Like they're all good team. We have every day, every week, sorry, we have a really good fight against them. It's really fun to play so far. And the specificity of the league with the ban is really interesting, and I wish to see that in more competition, to be fair.
Yeah, it's one of the things that we really wanted to
Yeah.
bring into it because I feel like we need to utilize bans more. I like the way that the Challengers League did it previously with PUCL, but I like this way more with the double bans that they've brought in. Especially when you've got those EX mons, right? You kind of have to really use more
Yes.
bans.
They just came in like we knew they would come at some point in the game, but like we weren't ready.
No, well, I think some of them still need a bit of tweaking, but you know we can talk about that until the cows come home. But let's have a quick review of how things went last week. So we didn't have the Oblivion Gaming versus Casa Flotteur game, but we did have Misfits versus Team Int. That was a fantastic game for me and Robo to cast. We really enjoyed casting that one. But I think it was probably the Sunday that had the more interesting games, shall we say. I mean, both of you were involved in that Sunday session. So, I mean, Batista's gang versus Plush Keepers. Run us through that one, buddy. How did it go?
um, how would say? I mean, like, like those were good game. Like we of course disappointed because the result doesn't show what we doesn't show the work that we put in those games, the investment we had, and the level we had too. It's frustrating when you play a really good game but end up by losing them. Not that the opponent is not worthy of winning. It's never like that. Like Pokemon Unite is just a really punishing game.
Mm.
You have to be the best, but you have to be the best during 10 minutes, which is exhausting. And knowing how to benefit from enemies' failures is the key point of winning in Unite. So they were better than us in the end. But yeah, frustrating would be the word still.
Well, I think there's a couple of teams that have a fantastic 8-minute battle and then have
Yeah.
trouble with Rayquaza. I'll move over to one of them. I mean, Chaos, you, to be fair, we joke, but you guys had a fantastic showing against Mem Ragnarok, right? I don't think any of us, I mean, you yourself included, didn't expect you to be winning those quite like you did, right?
Yeah, I mean, things just haven't really clicked for us up until sort of last Sunday. I know when we did the predictions, I predicted a 3-0 defeat for us rather than the other way around, but pretty similar to how Kuroce described his games, to be honest. Like, quite a few of our games in the league, we've been really comfortable for the first 8 minutes, been ahead at Ray, and then we've just kind of thrown it away. And then this Sunday, we had the same. We were comfortable for 8 minutes, but this time we actually won some Rayquaza fights.
Luck was in your side. I mean, I say, look, you guys played amazingly well, and this is as what you've mentioned already, Kuro. Like, there's so many teams in this league that are so close in competitiveness. Like, that's why this league has been so good. So many teams are like, there's no one running away with this, as me and Chaos have said many weeks. Like, and it's nice to see that side of things from your perspective as a team captain playing in it. That you guys feel like it is actually a really competitive league. Hmm. All right, so let's move on. Let's go on to. I mean, there were some great games. But, of course, we do have the team captain of Plush Keepers here with us, so it wouldn't be right if we didn't ask you just a couple of questions to see how you're getting on. And I think one of the things that I really want to know, because I always ask any pro player that I get a chance to speak to, I want to know what your power rankings, I guess, are for the EX Mons, well, the XEX Mons that we now have access to. What do you think's really balanced? What do you think's broken? What do you think needs a bit more tweaking in regards to all of those Mons?
About the X-Mons, it's really hard question because like they're all really different. Like for example, Zeshan in the end of a good player, like there were some Zeshan OTP back then that kind of left the competition but are coming back now that Zeshan is open. Like two Zeshan player make it S tier. Like it's really strong, hard to deal with. Once you got the lead of the game, it's almost impossible to catch up.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, the character itself doesn't feel that broken. Like it's kind of weird to explain, but that's why also people are now playing it in jungle to compensate how he dropped, but it's still broken. Miraidon is crazy strong. Like, please, please don't have Miraidon. I can't deal with this this man anymore. Like, he got amazing range. He immune to CC, so as a tank, it's just the worst thing ever. Like, somebody have like 5 seconds of immune to hindrance for free. You have all the pain in the world to reach him, but then hey, I'm immune to CC, so let me say you bye. And if he doesn't have a good game, he can just play the Electro Drift, and it's uncatchable. Like, yeah, please get this rid of Miraidon. Then I'd say Mewtwo X. Mewtwo X is really broken as a tank. So as a carry, it's not that strong, but as a tank, it's just impossible to kill. It has like the best grab of the game, which is when smartly used is devastating. An ult that can just stun everybody, which is again the perfect tool for a tank. Also give you vision on the opponent, so everything in his kit is more profitable for a tank than a carry, in my opinion. I'd say Mewtwo Y is kind of fair. Like it's for me, it's like weaker Cinderace, honestly. Because it got mobility, of course, it got stun, but in the end, it's just one of those other ADCs. But Cinderace has more escape, has more mobility, and also I think I was about to say the ult is better, but no, I'm not going that far. But yeah, it's pretty balanced. We feel like, and also in this meta where there's a lot of diver like Spitzer that are really strong, around there that are just very strong. Of course, Mewtwo is all the time. And who am I missing? Oh yeah, of course. I have a bit of a weird relationship with O as a tank because I was supposed to play it, but the more I played it, the more I feel like it's not built to be a tank and more like built to be a support. Like as a tank, I would say it's kind of mid, to be fair. Like you don't have really hindrances to annoy the opponents. Like you can take place like Lapras did by the time. Like you don't have that much CC, but you're not pilling in the end. You're just taking place, and the opponent want to kill you first. But with OO ult, the resurrection, you don't want to be the first one to die. So that makes OO an excellent support, in my opinion, but not that good of a tank.
Interesting. I like that. I mean, you talk about Miraidon. Me and Chaos were doing things probably should have been considered illegal on that mon because it is so busted into the. I mean, when you pair it with like I don't know a good early game speedster or something like that, it was broken in duo queue anyway, and we know what it's like in 5-star. That's why everybody's picking it up. I think between that and Zacian, they're the most picked up like EX mons in any of the tournaments. We've just seen them doing exactly that in the Europe Cup. So yeah, they need to do something about those ones, I think.
Yeah, the thing with Miraidon is like you just have to build a strong front lane that won't die.
Yeah.
And then just use Miraidon beam and you kill the whole team anyway. Like the time you have to reach him, you just kill everybody because that's how it is. So if you pair it with OO, his front lane is get resurrected, and yeah, no, just erase Miraidon from the game, please. And and passing by, can you erase so Pikachu and Savage to the X-Men levels?
I mean, I'm an enjoyer of both of those ones, so we'll keep them.
I mean, it is enjoyable when you have them.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, Pikachu gets
I love having them in
so
my
much.
team. I don't see the problem.
And the thing is, though, they're also mons that are easy to learn how to play, right? Like, I think Charge Beam is easy, but I think the Electro Drift is a bit more like skillful in a sense that it will have skill expression on it. Really good players can really show that off, but I think even if you're an average player, you can at least do well on it. But Pikachu, I mean, anyone can pick that up and break a game with it.
I mean, just press your ult and you win the team
Well,
fight. Like,
yeah, exactly. And yeah, there's a reason why they want to make it that basic. It's the mascot. They want to make it so anyone can pick it up and enjoy it. That's probably why it is so OP. But it's still not Miraidon. So,
Yeah.
until we get rid of the Dragon Bike, then yeah, we'll.
I mean, in the current meta, is either you have Pikachu or you have Miraidon, and
Yeah.
the opponent team doesn't have one of those two. So just ban one, pick the other, and you have the best mage.
Yeah. Well, exactly that, buddy. So, I mean, my next question is, and you might need a minute to think about this, but if you could change one thing, and I mean just one thing in Pokemon Unite, what would it be?
I wasn't prepared
Just
for that.
one thing. That's a bit
Yeah,
harsh.
Just one thing. It can be anything, literally anything. Just one thing that you change. It could be a massive prize pool for the World Championships. It could be take out emblems. It could be literally anything that you can think of.
Okay, I'll go politic there, but just don't ban Netherlands and Belgium.
Yeah.
That's the. I mean, I could say a thousand things, but for the moment, like, I have FTR Sub Etoile in my team. That's a Belgian player. He's playing for the Belgian team currently. He's an amazing player. He's a good friend, and I know a lot of Belgian players that are just. It's so unfair for them. Like, please don't stop being a gacha game and let those with that 100 game play it.
I still understand why they can't just disable that function in most countries. Like, they don't have to have it in. It's literally just cosmetics.
Yeah.
It'll suck that they don't get a nice skin, but at least they can, play the game and compete.
Yeah, that's. But I think maybe they made the math and they realized like, oh, maybe keeping server for those country isn't beneficial. Doesn't bring enough money, but come on. I mean, that's just that.
Well, I don't know enough about game development to like see what difference it would make, because I know that they're really concentrated on making sure that they only have one version of the game, right? That's why we're getting the Chinese beta version coming into Pokemon Unite. We're getting that move. I think that game mode, that they are really moving it towards only having one version of this game. And I don't know whether like taking those out would make them have to use a different version. But either way, the fact that they've not come out and even justified it in any way, shape, or form is ridiculous. It's not good enough. In my opinion, it's as simple as that. You can't take away and not only two regions, but two countries that have amazing players. I mean, we've just watched the Europe Cup, right? Belgium were amazing. They played absolutely incredibly. Greece were dominating their games, and Belgium beat them. It is such a shame to miss out on these competitive players and especially ones that just want to play. And I completely disagree with it. So chat, go on to change.org, find the petition. Whether it does something is irrelevant. It's the fact that these communities know that we're behind them. I know Spraggles dropped a video on it recently. Just go sign that petition. We really couldn't recommend it anymore. But yeah, obviously that is the thing that you're going to change. But let's say that they've changed that, Kuro. I'm not letting you out that easily, buddy.
Okay. Let me get a second though then.
I think it is the easy route out. So we'll live in a hypothetical world where Timmy has finally decided to stop thinking with their pockets and actually care about.
There is so much to change going Unite. It's a bit tough to
picking one is like
it is a tough one.
Picking one.
See, for me, I just want them to optimize the game. I'm so fed up of lag and bugs and ridiculous shit that they just need to do. I mean, not to plug my own YouTube, but I have a video on it.
I got one. Just make something useful from those tickets. Like, I got 1,000 of them.
Yes, mate. That's a good one. Yeah. No.
They just released a new outfit for your trainer, which is based on Wigglytuff, which is gorgeous. It's on gyms, and I got like 10,000 fashion tickets. Let me use them.
Yeah, it's like why the frick do we have these tickets? Like, we can't use them for anything. I've bought everything you could possibly buy with them. Give us a new shop at least or something. You know what I mean?
And even the draws, like you use the point for get the kind of lottery for the emblem and the stuff. Like it's the same skin since the release of the game. That
It's
Talon
so
Flame skin, I got it
poor.
like twice. I mean, 12
Yeah.
times.
I mean,
Did that not
That's
fix their issue with the laws in Holland and Belgium, though? I think it's made everything obtainable through in-game currency.
yeah.
Like, obviously, just make it like stupidly expensive in-game currency, but
yeah. I mean, that's an answer, right? Make it so that, like, you know, it's going to take you a while to get it, and at least then, I mean, they brought back the battle pass skins, didn't they? Like later on for people to be able to get through the ridiculous prize machine. But like, you can make it so that people have to earn the in-game currency to buy this skin, but it's going to take you so long to get it that the people that bought it get a while to enjoy it. Like,
I just don't get it either because there's other games that have the loot box system that are being allowed in those countries. So I don't know. I think they're maybe just hiding behind those laws a little bit. There must be some else to it.
yeah,
It's like
I know.
FIFA, for example. They have packs that people spend thousands of pounds on every year, and that's all luck based, isn't it?
Yeah. But that's how the game was at release. Like at release, it was a pay-to-fast game. Like you could have almost anything, but just you have to wait for them to earn it. And now it's just pay to have it, and that's really sad.
it is, and it's a shame. It's very frustrating because
But even like the Mon licenses, it's just like when you're paying for it, it's early access. Really, it's like you have to wait a week and you can buy them with coins.
Yeah.
So I don't get it personally.
It's just the fact that nearly every decision coming from Pokemon Unite is about how much money they can make out of it. And I mean, even when you see, right, there's been so many bugs that are in this game that still need to be fixed. But the second anything happens, so that people can't spend money in the game, they fix it immediately. And it's like, come on, like we know where your priorities lie.
Recently, there's the bug with the Sylvian loot box.
Yeah.
Like some people didn't get the right reward or something, I don't know, but it got fixed in 1 day.
Yeah, ridiculous.
During this time, Phalanx is still taking double damage from anything he gets. just so you know, don't play Phalanx.
I mean, Inteleon, like extra 30% crit damage or something like that, right? When it gets KO'd, like these are ridiculous bugs. Like nobody wants to play Phalanx because of the fact that you are getting that much damage. Why would you? Do you know what I mean? Like people want to play Inteleon because it's an easy bug to abuse. Like these are the things that need fixing, but no. Something stopping.
Oh, do you remember when I was raging for ages because of an Espeon bug they didn't fix for like a month and a half? Where like Store Power wasn't locking onto anything with Future Sight. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, chat got it here. Hashtag make PU great again. We wish they could, honestly.
I mean, yeah, we could dress a list that's so long. Like, please, more supporter, battle pass for tank and support, please.
Yeah, I mean that's a joke as well. At least we're finally gonna get one, I guess. So, I mean,
I'm looking forward to Psyduck at least, so that's kind of solved that a little bit. But yeah, we've got what 6 supports to choose from. It's crazy. Obviously, not including Wiggly or mine, but
yeah, and knowing 2 are the most dominant ones.
The thing is, though, like whilst people spend money on this game the way that they do, they're not going to change anything, mate. And that's what I find frustrating. Like the community can get behind some really good stuff, and I like that, but they're just not getting behind the thing that really matters. I've seen so many people on Twitter really, enjoying buying this skin and all this kind of stuff, and it's like, yeah, it is a nice looking skin, but you're doing exactly what they want you to do. Like they're not gonna change anything whilst they're making this kind of money. It's ridiculous.
And I'm not familiar with a lot of MOBA game, but like for me that's the Pokemon effect. Like every Pokemon game, people are yelling, ranting about it being terrible, thinking, "Oh, we will boycott this one, the next one will boycott it," and then just everybody bought it on release. I'm the same guy with Pokemon, like, but that's really frustrating from when you really want this game to go far and to stay alive.
Yeah. I mean, I could talk about this all day, mate, but it'll get me really wound up.
Maybe it's frustrating. It's like you have something that you love, like we all love the game, we all love the community around it, and it's like you have that thing you love, and you see it running toward a cliff.
Yeah.
And no, please don't go there. Like, just come back to me. Like,
trying to entice it with treats and stuff, right? Come back.
Yeah, really, yeah. That's why my career is going on T2 at Ray, and I mean, retreat.
Let's fight together.
Yeah.
and it's just not
That's
working.
that's the perfect comparison. Yeah.
So true. Well, I guess that. I mean, Kira, what other regions have you been keeping a close eye on? Have you been keeping a close eye on any? Is there any region that you feel like coming up to the start of this championship series that you think is going to be either an
That's
underdog or a contender?
that's a harsh one. I want to believe it's the end of NA domination.
Mm.
Like we saw it last Worlds. They kind of suffer from the same problem EU had on the two last season. They got that. I mean, that's my feeling, but it's not falsely the case. But I got the feeling that they got a bit cocky, like thinking that they were the one that know the game the better. And like I would take the AUIC as an example. Every team got ripped by a Dragonite.
Yeah.
But in EU, Dragonite was at the bottom of every tier list. But now we thought we knew the game better, so and that's the problem that NA is starting to have. Maybe they would fix this before, but I think it's yeah, like in most of the MOBA, it's gonna be Asian domination for
Yeah.
now. I mean, I can still pray for a European comeback. I wished, but uh, I think also India now is getting stronger and stronger. We have to keep an eye on them,
Mm.
and I'm not sure when the Chinese global version will join us, but that's gonna be a really interesting moment in the game. A lot of things that we didn't expect.
Yeah, that's true. Because to be fair, with them bringing, it seems like they're trying to connect those two communities, right? And if they bring China into Worlds, that'll be crazy. Because
Yeah.
Well, they did, didn't they? They brought that invitational team from
Yeah,
China.
I don't know how this ends. Uh, I didn't see the result of the game. I
no,
didn't even see the game. Not sure it was cast.
I mean that's the direction it's going though, isn't it? Like as we watch, that is literally what's happening. So I do think Japan are kind of really dominating. I mean the whole Asia area is so. They're going to be the ones to beat. They've got a bit of a target on their back, but I really hope that we see more from EU. I hope that they don't just sit on these new mons, I say new mons, like the EX mons coming back. I hope that they do play them and play them a lot because every other region is doing it, and you don't want to go into Worlds not having that locked down as a mon that you can play as a team.
I guess think other regions kind of see the game a little bit differently to us as well. You see Asian, there's just like completely different Pokemon being played, and the way they play, the macro wise is just not like Pokemon Unite. It's like other MOBAs. Like we saw somebody on Twitter like having a full breakdown of how the macro being used was closer to like Dota's, which was crazy. Whereas us in EU, we kind of all play the same mons, we play the same team comps, and it's just sort of who plays it better.
Yeah, that's
We rely a lot on individual difference in EU in terms of level, and also we have like sometimes some kind of short memory effect. Like we just play the most recent, most broken release, like the most recent buff, the most recent
so true.
pick that got released. While I mean, currently in the game, there is not that many mon that are underwhelming. Like I can't think about many mon that can't make it in a good game. To be fair, like there are extra broken mon, sure, but there's a lot of balanced one, and with a good training on them, you can bring in every game with no doubts. And like I will take an example of something that is still broken, but is getting less and less played in you. It's Blaziken. We see less and less Blaziken, but it didn't get any nerf. Just that the other Pokemon got buffed or there was new release. And now I see game where Blaziken is not picked. We did it also, but it's kind of crazy when you think that the character didn't get nerfed, but 2 weeks ago or 1 month ago, everybody was like, "Oh, it's pick or ban,"
Yeah.
and now it's just not there.
It's the balance, isn't it? It's this
Yeah,
is what happens.
it's
Well, I mean, in any MOBA, it happens. It happens in any hero sort
yeah.
of shooter as well. Like when you change one set of mons, like it can alter the others. And I mean, defenders and all rounders are pretty much the meta at the moment. And I mean, speaking of that, let's move on to a tier list. Everybody loves a good tier list. We're gonna do a defender tier list. I say defender.
Let's go.
We do have Mime and Mewtwo X in there at the request of Kuroce. So if anybody's got any issues with that, write in and we won't read it out. So let's go with this one. Where do we want to put? I'm going to let you guys take more of a lead on this because I don't really play defenders. I'm very much a speedster mage player. So let's have a chat about Blastoise. Used to be good.
Blastoise is interesting, right? Because it used to be right at the top. I don't think anymore it's sort of S or A tier. We've been using it a bit more, mainly as sort of like a secondary tank, playing him at top lane, more as the all-rounder, which is kind of where I think it's best, rather than an out-and-out tank. Its ult is still incredibly strong. It's got a huge knock-up, huge damage, still has huge CC with Surf if you play that build, and Rapid Spin, not Hydro Pump, Water Spout does ridiculous damage to squishies. It's one of those mons where, like, if you think about it, like, Tree is probably right up there at the top. Blastoise, if you play Rapid Spin, it just ignores all the shove moves from Tree and gets straight onto the back line. So I quite like it as an all-rounder. As a tank, though, I don't know. I'd play it middle of the road, sort of B.
Yeah, I would go for the same. Like Blastoise is one of those mon I was saying that didn't really get heavily nerfed, but everybody stopped playing it. While it can still do its job, actually. Like as a tank, it's still a good peel, a lot of stuns. One of the best unite of the game. That doesn't change. And you can even go like kinda like a full play Umbreon, annoying the back lane with rapid spin hydro pump. That's I will not talk about playing it as a top laner because I'm not really experienced with it. Maybe now in top lane it like a bit of damage or need more setup. But as a defender, yeah, B tier is the correct answer, I'd say.
Okay. Nice, happy with that. What about Snorlax? We do see a lot more of Snorlax in the tournaments recently, especially with how good the early game is, right? That the tackle does a lot of damage.
I love Snorlax. Snorlax is in a really tricky place, in my opinion. Like, it's got a really good build in terms of heavy slam, huge CC. Yawn's incredible, especially when you heavy slam into a group. You just put them to sleep, and it feels like for an eternity. Block's got some good usage as well. I just think it struggles as like a solo tank. I don't know what you feel, Kuro.
A solo tank, it's hard for him because like it's a one-way ticket. Like Snorlax is one of those tanks that has a one-way ticket. If it's engaged and is not correctly followed, he's dead, and the rest of the match is gonna be way harder. Like in a team fight, I mean. The early still crazy strong, that's right. The ult is really kinda good if you know how to use it. And also it's one of the best counter pick to Hoopa because it can cancel really easily the portal. Which made it a solid pick, but to me it's more like some kind of counter pick or some kind of safe blind pick, and you have to trust your team. I will still put it in B because I don't think it's bad in the end of a good player. It's really still good. A lot of CC, a lot of setups. B tier is the right one for him too.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think we used Snorlax quite a bit when we were trying to sort of build up our synergy in team fights, because it was a case of we played a team that was heavy CC, but didn't have Pokemon that had easy get outs, like Kurogus said. So it's basically if one goes in and we don't follow up on it, then we lose the team fight, and that's basically how we were using Snorlax to sort of improve our team fighting. But that's kind of what separates it from a broken tanks, right? Because the more broken tanks, they can dive in, even if it's a terrible engage, they can just walk out. And Lax doesn't really have that.
I like that.
Yeah, for example, just if 2 or 3 people are in a L-bush, Snorlax just heavy slam in, ult, and if it's followed by, let's say, Pika, that's the team fight is won. That's just that. Good Snorlax engage following by anyone that has also AoE damage. That's done. It's as simple as that. I mean, as simple.
Nah, I like it. Okay, that's a good position.
Yeah.
Now, Wigglytuff.
Wiggly.
I enjoy a lot of Wigglytuff, and I feel like, as someone that usually plays against it, I genuinely feel like it's one of the better tanks. It takes a lot. The Unite move helps it take even more. It's got crazy CC. Like, I don't think it's S tier, maybe not, but for me, I'd be leaning more towards the A tier with a Wiggly.
I wouldn't get that high with him.
Okay. I mean...
Wiggly's tough. I think it's more of a counter pick,
first.
right? Yeah, it's more like a counter pick, right? Isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not something that you'd play on sort of every single comp. Like if you see a team that is melee heavy, the reason it's getting picked up so much is because we're in a melee heavy meta. Like you
Yeah.
see a Buzzwell on the other team, you play Wigglytuff to counter it pretty much. It counters Ceruledge Edge really well with its ult.
Yeah, it's
But
the perfect counter to Stereo.
it kind of just
It's
depends on the other team, doesn't it?
the thing I would say with Wiggly is that yeah, he's a really good melee counter pick, but he has some issues. Like his spill take a long time to proc, I'd say, like to happen. Let's say you're being dived by a Leafeon, at the time you get asleep, your backlane is just wasted. Because the time, like yeah, you have with Sing, you have that system where you have 4 notes
Yeah.
to get before the opponent get asleep. Well, Leafeon just got the time to in the time you get 4 notes and get asleep, he killed your backlane. That's the problem with Wiggly. And also, it's not that bulky comparing to other tank. Like it suffer a lot from poking, and it can die really easily. A buff I'd love for him is just getting a shield when he's using Sing, maybe Sing plus, just a small shield to allowing more sustain.
Yeah.
But you can also play it in if you want to build a funny team around special defense drop. You know, like Sings then drop the defense special of your opponents, so it can combo really well with Slowbro. It can combo really well with Sylveon that also done the same. You can have pretty fun setup with that, which are fun, but it's hard to draft. The main thing is just hard to draft, so it's either C or B for me.
What you think?
Yeah,
Then,
I'd lean
Chaos?
more towards the C tier.
Okay.
It's like I said, if something's diving your backline, you've not got that immediate push away unless you're playing rollout to an extent. And we were playing with a tank player who played a lot of rollout Wiggly, and he was doing some crazy things on it. But it's one of those ones where it's just skill diff, isn't it?
Quite niche.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you have if you have the chance of you playing rollout and being capped in Metagross Unite, it's really fun.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, obviously, I'm looking at these defenders really as someone that goes up against them, especially as a speedster attacker player. So, you know, naturally, that's going to make me think they're better than they are, I guess. But Clefable. So we don't actually see that much of Clefable in tournaments.
Oh, F was not really tank. Yeah.
No, I don't know why they've got it coloured green. What?
Yeah, it's.
I mean,
You
maybe
got
maybe it was previously it could do quite a bit of tanking, but not so much now. Maybe.
Poor Reneste, go on.
It was considered as a tank in the beta, something like that. I think in the beta it was considered a tank, but it's really nuts now.
So let's put it D because it's not a tank anymore.
It
Yeah.
could be a tank.
Destroyed
to an
as a
extent if you
tank.
played the Draining Kiss build. Does that
Yeah.
follow me? But
Never tried that.
I don't see any reason why you'd pick that as your tank unless unless we went crazy with our banning system and had every single tank banned.
Viable. Also, welcome in Top Gun. Robo does look different today. I couldn't change the overlay, so I just put Kuroce's name above him.
It's okay.
All right, Slowbro. I mean, what a time for you to come in, Top Gun. We're literally doing the defender tier list. Slowbro is the next defender. For me, I feel like it'd be one going in either the A or the S tier, right? That Unite move alone is justifiable for needing this mon.
You know my thoughts on Slowbro. I think it's been severely overrated for a long ass time. It's got a really strong Unite move, sure, but that's what 3-4 times a game. I think its Surf build is weak. I think its Skull build's solid, but again, you don't really want to use that as a tank. Telekinesis is strong, but I'd be putting it in the beta, to be honest. I really think it's super overrated.
I'm a bit more generous. Like I agree with everything you said almost. Like for me, the ult is so huge, but in the meta currently, there's not only one diver, so you erase one, and in the meantime, the second one is just killing everybody. That's the main problem with Slobo currently. Surf is still kind of good, but the problem also is that now all those new all-rounder got CC resistance, CC immune, that are really annoying to deal with, but Scald is still a good answer to that, because the main reason is the attack debuff that is really huge with it. Like the number of Blaziken that miss their secure because you scald them, it's really clutch sometimes. And it still has a crazy good early. It's the counter of being snowballed. Like if you're against a
Mm.
team that love to rely on one individual, let's say a team that has a really good jungler, that's got a really good gank, they rolled on your team for the half of the game. Once Slowbro got his ult, you have a chance to come back in the game. And just because of that, I can't put it lower than the A tier. Like it's
Okay.
just it's your second chance in a
Okay,
game.
I think that's a good compromise. I mean, Top Gun took the approach of "I will not speak. If I speak, I'm in trouble," and then said A tier anyway. So let's go with A tier for it then. I think that's valid for both reasons with what you said.
Also, one thing I saw with Slobo is the lack of mobility. Like if you don't have your
Yeah.
flash, you're done. And now that Miraidon or Pika are everywhere, like you just get poked the hell of him. That's also one of
The
his
other thing
weaknesses.
for Slowbro as well is the buffs to Charizard's or Mimikyu can just jump on something that's been Slowbro. It's
Yeah,
and
but
cancel. Yeah,
with
Honestly,
those,
that's something I think LC for the game. Like we needed something that could fight against Slobo ult. We
yeah,
needed
I
counter
mean,
to that.
don't even get me started on the Serena changes. But no,
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
the thing is, like, it kind of adds for a reason to have the slow brawl as well, though, doesn't it? Right? If you've got a Charizard and a Mimikyu in the game that can do that to any of your Pokemon, you would also want the slow brawl to do the same back to it, right? It's kind of like
Yeah.
yin and yang in that situation. Like they're good against it, but it's also good to handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's move on to Crustle then, because I honestly think Crustle is one of the most underrated defenders.
My beloved Crystal.
I'm intrigued for your opinions because I feel like the Stealth Rock does a surprising amount of damage. It's great CC. Rebel Rouser makes it so tough to take down. I think it's one of the best defenders in the game.
especially in a melee heavy meta like we have now. It's crazy. That ult is crazy good, but yeah, Crustle, Rock Tomb, walling off. If you know how to use Rock Tomb and where to place it in a lane, you pretty much cut off an entire lane from your opponent's early game. Especially if you get your evolution super early, you can snowball a lane with it. The X Scissor as well. It's a toss up depending on the opposing team whether you want to play X Scissor, whether you want to play Stealth Rock. Like I said, Stealth Rock does a really surprising amount of damage, but so does X Scissor as well. Now, I absolutely love Crustle, and it's one of those mons where you can control more than one mon at a time, which I think is where something like Snorlax kind of falls apart. In that mainly it's a 1v1 with Snorlax, but Crustle you can literally just walk into an entire team and just shove them to wherever you want with the X Scissor and trap them with walls. I struggle to play it lower than A, to be perfectly honest.
I'd agree. What about you?
I would agree too. Like I would just add one thing. Like for me, yeah, it's like X Scissor is really good against like Diver, but where Crustle shine the most for me is in a mage meta actually, because the range he got with Wall and how he punish low mobility character make it more value. Like when he was really strong was in at the peak of Inteleon meta, and that's like the starting using Crustle is what put a stop to the Inteleon abuse we had at some point, because it's just like the best anti-mage tank, I would say. I mean, there's Umbreon, but we would get to him later. But yeah, like Crustle is really versatile. You can use it in a lot of situations. It get kind of countered by Umbreon though, because you're afraid to ult if he's around. But the ult is still a huge tool. Like you can just go, okay, I'm a carry for 10 seconds, and that's really really strong. Stealth Rock with anti-eating is like small Delphox ult. That's like yeah, Delphox. Crustle is crazy strong. Like underestimate a lot, but you can still play it really well. You just have to be careful. There are not too many dashmon. Like currently, Ceruledge is a problem for Crustle because you just escape really easily.
Yeah.
Mimikyu is also one, but against Blaziken, for example, it does wonders. And it's also good against Pika and Miraidon if he's not playing the wheel. So yeah.
I mean,
Crystal, I'm fine with the 8 here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, do you think it could be more than 8 here?
Nah, no, because I'm Brian.
I mean, that's valid. I will say with Crustle, it's one of the few mons that really like can. I mean, when you have a Cramorant Unite move, for example, you just pop that Rebel Rouser and sit right in front of it. Do you know what I mean? Take all that damage.
And also, it's really it's really good to annoy the opening tank. Like if your opponent picks Slowbro, just pick Russell. Slowbro will never have his flash
Yeah.
because he will always use it to get it off your wall, and then Slowbro is way less menacing for your team then.
Okay. So Gudra, I feel like Gudra's struggling a little bit in the meta. It's actually one of the defenders that I enjoy playing the most. But it does struggle, right? I feel like people are struggling to put it above C tier realistically. But what's your guys' opinion on it?
I love Gudra, but it's not a tank, is it? Let's be honest. I mean, the power whip's fun, not particularly strong. The acid spray has not got great CC either. It's just annoying to take down, and you can catch off. If you play it, you can catch off some really inexperienced teams because they'll just get caught up just trying to 1v1 the Gudra or trying to throw all the resources to kill it. Meanwhile, the opposing team's like ripping Ray or something. But the issue for me with Gudra is you can just sort of like walk away from it. You can literally walk through it and it can't do anything to stop you. Yeah, I'd play right at the bottom. I think it's kind of useless right now. As a tank, anyway, if you want to play it as an all-rounder, got some usage, but yeah.
Top Gun says
Yeah,
solo
that's-
S tier. When my teammates fight, it's C tier. So true.
And I agree. I agree completely with what was said. Like just in your good run, like run through it, and what is it gonna do? Maybe grab one of you. Okay, there's still four of the rest of the team that's just gonna pass him. Just at the moment, the opposing team is smart enough to just dodge him. He can't do anything. And what's really frustrating about it is like everyone was saying, yeah, Gudra will be good in a melee meta. Like when a lot of melee are there, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. But now we are in a meta where melee are good. Where is Gudra?
Yeah, that's fair.
It just doesn't have the mobility to rival them.
So do we want to put it in D tier or C tier?
It's a D for me.
Yeah,
D it
obviously
is.
ahead of Clef, but
Okay.
actually no, I think that'd be a good debate. Is it? Would it be a better tank than Clef? Gun to the head, and you had to play one of them as a tank. So Draining Kiss, Follow Me, Clef, or any of
I
them
never-
Gudra. I think
I never
Clef,
played
to be honest.
I never played the Follow Me Draining Kiss set, so I can't really tell. Like that, I would say it's still better, but
All right. I mean, fair dues. Umbreon, I just need to put this in the S tier, right?
do we even need to debate on that? I don't know.
It does everything, doesn't it, man?
It literally
Absolutely
does
everything.
I mean, I love both movesets on it. Like the Unite move is just freaking amazing. Like, there's not much that we need to say about Umbreon. It belongs in that S tier. It's such a good early mon, right? It's an evolution, so of course it is. Yeah, there's not really. I mean, can you think of any negatives for Umbreon?
It's ban.
Yeah.
Yes. You want a counter to Umbreon? Ban it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Which means
Main
it belongs
can
there.
be kind of tricky sometimes, I guess, but you always get some mileage out of it. That's why it's just sat there in S tier. Even a bad mean look's a good mean look, but I can't think of it. I feel like mean look's the reason why teams ban it, but then when they let it through and it plays foul play, it's even more oppressive.
The thing is, like,
crazy.
Miluk is like a slow roll. Like you can use it, cool, but there are two diver.
Yeah.
Like one's gonna be Miluk, the other one is gonna just waste your team.
Yeah.
That's maybe the weakness of Miluk, but it's still crazy strong. Don't get me wrong, but just the weakness of Umbreon is maybe inexperienced player that struggle to choose their spell.
Yeah, which I guess is more
It's just
the
that.
player than the mon, isn't it?
But I would add just one thing about it. If there are young tank player, it's the best man to get in the mindset of playing tank. Like the spell management, you have to be a good Umbreon player. I'm talking about being good. Like, just play Minlook, and it will teach you how to stay close to your carry, how to use your spell management really in a clever way. It's really the best training you can have as a tank. Just put on Umbreon XP share and follow some carry all around the game, and you'll become better at being a tank.
I like it. Okay, so I mean, we've got one S tier so far. What do we think about Ho-Ho? Because I mean, obviously the Unite move is ridiculous, but we've got to be thinking like in a 5-star. I guess you'd put it way higher than you would in solo.
As I said earlier in the podcast, I feel OO is an amazing support, but as a bad tank.
Yeah.
So if we're speaking about only defender role like bot lane with your mage, XP share, I'd say is honestly just a B tier.
B tier.
But
Okay.
if you're playing it as support, if we're playing it as support, it's S tier. But as tank, it's B tier. Like I can get more into explanations, but I'm not sure about the timing we have.
You've been talking all night, mate. But...
I know I'm a talkative person, so I'm restraining myself.
We appreciate it, mate. I mean, the attacker podcast took so long that I had to cut it out, and I'm gonna have to add it as a different video. So, but I'm with you. I think we put it B tier. Chaos, do you agree?
Put it in C, to be honest. Like, if we're talking about it as a tank,
defender,
it doesn't do anything. It's got an incredible ult, but again, that's like 2 or 3 times a game, and it can completely change a game. But as a tank, it doesn't do anything. It's like Gudra.
It does take
This
a
is
lot to
Gudra
kill
with
it,
a good ult.
Yeah. What do you reckon, Kuro? Are we happy we see?
It's still better because it's still a good early. Even as a tank, if you're not the first one dying, your ult can still clutch. Despite the fact that being a tank, you should be the first one dying. But I'd say it depends how you will rank Lapras from, because those are the same.
Yeah,
Lapras tank and OO tank are the same. Like they are dive tank that want to take room to annoy the enemy. You want to be their target, and that's the.
Well, I guess we'll take Chaos's lead on that one then, because I know he's played a lot of Lapras. So,
Where would you rank Lapras tank?
yeah, leave the Ho B because I'd rank Lapras C. I think Lapras was incredible for a period, and then it just got absolutely gutted. He got 2 nerfs, didn't he? He got a nerf to the damage of like Perish Song and Water Pulse. But I was kind of sat there like, haha, well, that's not the broken part about Lapras, it's Ice Beam. Like the damage comes from Ice Beam, and then we finally cottoned on and nerfed that as well. But I still love Lapras. I think it's got a place. It's really niche. It's all super fun. Combine it with a Cramorant, you can have a whale of a time. And it's so oppressive early as well. Like you can just walk into. You are just literally the embodiment of a tank with Lapras. You just walk up a lane, you don't die, you're stealing farm. It's crazy. But I think the further the game goes on, the weaker Lapras gets, and yeah, I'd put it down in C, just ahead of Wiggly. But
okay, that's fair. I think if you've played a lot of them on, so I think that's probably a good way to assess it, buddy.
Everything was said about Lapras. I have nothing to add. It's a good until spreader though, but always the same though.
Yeah,
like it's a good until use.
So, Mamoswine. We've seen an absolute meteoric rise of Mamoswine since the World Championships. I do feel like it can sometimes be tough to get Mamoswine to be a Mamoswine. It does take a lot of XP, so I think that is a bit of a negative for it, if not a lot of a negative. But it does have, I mean, Ice Fang just works so well, right?
It's one of those mons where every single move it has is good and has a good place.
Yeah.
Like you said, the level issue for Mamoswine is the big problem. But even like as a Piloswine for a while, you're still kind of useful, especially if you're playing Ice Fang, you just isolate one mon. But if you're doing that, you're getting your levels up anyway. For me, the biggest letdown for Mamo is its ult.
Yeah.
I think it's just a weak ult. It doesn't do an awful lot. It's got a nice little stun at the end, nice little knock up, but I still put it in A tier. I think it's one of the best tanks in the game. To be honest, I was looking at it more. Is it S tier or not? I don't think it's S, just because of the levels and the ult.
Yeah, it's. I don't like Mamoswine, to be fair. Like, I love playing it. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like it's being a bit overrated recently. Because one of the reason it was that good, it was because people were not used to face it. Now that people are comfortable against Mamoswine, it's really easy for them. Like for the target of your Earthquake Ice Fang, it's really easy for them to dodge it. Like it takes a lot of level and a lot of practice to be sure to land your Ice Fang on the good players. I would just send an example, like meaning you want to catch a Blaziken, you Earthquake on him, he had time to escape before you Ice Fang him. The combo doesn't connect on some of your main targets, and that's one of the major issues with Mamoswine, in my opinion. And that's why it's gonna be weaker and weaker by the time, I think. The ult is, yeah, the ult is really weak. The level, as you said, if you play Ice Fang, it's not that much of a problem. If you play Ethical Crush, it's more difficult to deal with.
Okay.
But he still has a crazy strong early. That's maybe one of the best things with Mamoswine. You can play. Something I love to do with my mate is to play the Candle Chandler in early game with Mamoswine. Chandler has a terrible early game, but with Mamoswine you can just dive the T1 like crazy guys.
Yeah.
So in the end, I would still put it in the A tier, but most because of the early things, and that is still viable on the rest of the game. But I just had to rant about him because I really noticed that is.
Mate, that's valid.
It's over. Like stop asking your tank to first pick it. It's not a good first pick, I think. Just that.
I mean, you'd first pick Umbreon, surely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just first pick Umbreon or don't first pick the tank.
Yeah. So, Greedent. Everybody
I
loves
love
it.
Greedent. I absolutely adore
everyone's
it.
a fan
I've been
of
going
it.
on that Greedent arc recently because obviously I play a lot of Sableye. And Greedent was surprisingly one of those mons which I guess never picked up, even though it's got a really similar playstyle. Picked it up, I fucking love it. My issue with Greedent though has always been I wish tackle you just got to keep it. Genuinely, I absolutely love the double tackle. It's like a weaker version of Umbreon in that respect. But if we're talking about it as a tank rather than just being annoying and a harasser, going to be down in probably D. It's not really got any CC apart from that one little bit of its ult. I guess the main part of it being a tank is it draws people away from you. But again, against good players, they're not going to be following a Greedent around for 8 minutes. They're going to be doing something more useful.
Yeah.
Greedent is to tank what Sableye is to support. Like he doesn't want to stay with its team. He's not like really there to help them. He can come, and in the end of a really good player, it's really annoying. But in the end of the day, if you want to pick a tank that can peel, that can be there in team fights. Nah, just don't play Greedent bot lane. I think maybe ask Gatlu what he thinks, but he's gonna say top lane, but not bot.
We know Gatlu's opinion. I mean, it sounds to me like a D tier tank. When we're looking at tanks objectively, it sounds like it's down there as, you know.
Yeah. Oh, we can create the G tier just for him, but.
So, Trevenant. I mean, I think you've got Umbreon up in the S tier. I feel like Trevenant has had domination as a defender for a while. I mean, would it be Plush Keepers without the plush?
I won't be how to say I'm biased for this one. Like
yeah, that's fair. I think we all are, to be honest. I think we all enjoy Trevenant. To be fair,
we've got a lovely little space nest here for him next to Umbreon.
Yeah.
It's one of those mons that just does everything. Like as a tank, it does whatever you want it to do. You can even play it top lane as an all-rounder, and it's super effective. Like if you're playing against something that has a lot of if you're playing against a team that has a lot of ADCs, like your Cinderaces, your Glaceons, etc., play as a top laner with Curse and Pain Split.
Yeah,
because neutralize them completely.
Even as tank, you can play it as a Woodhammer Pain Split. It's really strong. Like it's work too. It's more niche and less frequent, but it's really strong.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's an easy one then.
Maybe the weakness of Revenant is maybe just the peel until he's level 5. Like when you're just a Phantom, I think it's in English. It's really hard to peel with your mate, but you just being aggro because Will-O-Wisp is crazy secure if you manage it correctly.
Yes.
It debuffs the attack stat of the opponent, so you can play somewhere around that. But once you're 5, it's a total beast. Like Woodhammer is maybe the most fun spell of the game.
I'm so glad somebody else is saying Will-O-Wisp is good support. I thought I was going absolutely crazy. Like every single player that plays Trevenant I've played with complains about Phantom being bad early, having no secure. No, Will-O-Wisp is excellent secure.
Yeah, the burn's great.
If you put Will-O-Wisp with your the second one, I don't know the name in English, sorry. Like, but if you play the two of them combined is a really good burst. If you're
Mm.
synchronized with your mage, like you can ultimate. Like I frequently ultimate Mew with that. So just play Trevenant, and also don't forget Flash Wood Hammer or Leech Wood Hammer.
So
That's all you need to win a fight.
let's move on to the honorably tanks that we wanted to put there. Mr. Mime. Now, I know it is quite tanky. I actually find Mr. Mime to do a considerable amount of damage.
I love Mime. Absolutely love it. And even as a tank, if we're just going to look at it solely as a tank, I put it straight up there with Mammothswine, to be honest. I think it's similar to Crustle, where if you know where to place your walls, it just controls an entire lane. As soon as it gets confusion, though, at level 4, because it doesn't need to evolve, it'll just tick into it by the time the birds come up. So as soon as you get that confusion, if someone walks anywhere near a wall in your lane, they're dead. It's simple as that. Like,
Yeah.
Mime's tanking is more, it just knocks people out and it isolates people. And it's one of the most underrated ults in the game. Like, if you engage on somebody with that ult, or engage on a team, that's kind of a team fight there and then. Like, we've had games where we've sort of camped Mime in that bottom L bush on our opponent's side, waited for them to go through the choke of death and just dived on them with the ult, and that's kind of game. No, I think Mime's super, super underrated.
It's hard to agree more. Like, yeah, Mime is like, how I see it is like it's a Crustle when you don't want to be Crustle. That's basically that. Like you need wall to annoy the mobility of some character. Like as I often say, like the best way to counter Blaziken is not the stun, because that shit is immune to stun all of the game, but like just annoy his mobility or debuff him. And Mime is so good at annoying his mobility. Like it's crazy strong like that. And the only weakness of Mime is maybe it's really easy to poke. Like you take 2 Solar Beam from a Venusaur and you're out of the game. So you need a lot of healing from the support before the engage.
Mm.
But if the opponent has a dive team and you want wall, go Mime. If they have a poke team and you want wall, go Crossel. So both are high tier for me.
I mean, we had a period where we were starting to struggle against Trevenant, especially if we were second pick, because we'd ban out Umbra and we'd ban out a threat if we were first pick. Opposing team were just locking back Trevenant, so our answer to it was literally run double tank with Blastoise as a top laner and Mime as a bot laner, because then Tree can't do anything because it relies on its. It's not like a dash; it doesn't dash through the walls. It's like it tries to slide into the wall.
Yeah.
So you can literally just stop Tree dead in its tracks with Mime, and I think that's why it pushes it even higher
Yeah.
up it is, because it's a counter to one of the best tanks in the game.
If you really want to annoy the enemy tank, again, except Umbreon, of course, just go Mime.
Yeah.
Like every tank is annoyed by Mime. And you can even, like, if you don't want your opponent to go Minlook, like they first pick Umbreon, you don't want them to pick Minlook because you want to have a really strong speedster or something like that. You bring your Mime, and the Umbreon will have a chance to pick full play, and you won't have to face the Minlook because he doesn't want to get annoyed by the wall. That's a good way of drafting also Mime. Just yeah.
I like it. Mind games, modern solutions. Let's go. So Mewtwo X. So I mean, obviously you've played this as a tank quite a bit. I never have. Talk me through it, Kuro. What you thinking?
I used to hate it, but then X-Men were available and I had to out-train it. Like I think I spammed him in ranked for 2 weeks before the LFPU qualifiers, so I just can get better on it. And yeah, it's A tier. It's just A tier. You can even argue with S tier, but maybe I'm just not good enough with it. But yeah, it's unkillable. It's like under its base. If he got his mega, if you manage his mega well, you can't kill him. Like nothing can kill him. It's crazy strong. The ult is one of the best engage of the game. Like you grab someone, you ult because his team will want to react, so you stun them, and you have a perfect engage. It's yeah.
All right.
The early is also crazy strong because you have a good burst for the smite, and it's also a stun, very strong. If you manage to play well around the mega evolution, like if your team follow you when your mega, Yeah, nothing can counter that. It's too strong.
Decent. Okay, and a good opinion. All right, so I mean that's our defender tier list. I'm quite happy with that. I like the fact that the A tier's got quite a few in it, but the S tier is really just the broken the broken ones up there. I'm quite happy with that. How are you both feeling with that?
Perfect. Much happier than the monstrosity that was the attacker tier list.
Maybe before publishing it, we could put Revenant in D tier, just it doesn't get nerfed, and I'm fine. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
stop nerfing Revenant, it's fine. I swear it's fine. Yeah.
Because Pop say blind S tier as well. Just,
just easier.
just do our favorite things, right? There we go.
There he is.
Give me some Pika.
All right, that's good. All right, guys. Now we're going to talk about the games next week before we get off. We've been on here for an hour. That was a good tier list. I enjoyed that one, but Top Gun saying put Cinder there too. No, we can't be doing that. Mate.
Absolutely not.
That is illegal.
I'm vetoing it. Not a chance.
Vetoed. All right, here we go. Round 2. So these are the games that are happening this weekend. On the Saturday, we have Casaflutter versus Misfits. We're finally going to see the new team, Casaflutter, in action. Very excited for that one. We've heard some really good things. Right now, I'm going to give it to Misfits just because I've not seen Casaflutter play. I don't know what they're like. I don't know how they're going to play it, but Misfits have been playing really well. So I'm going to give it a 2-1 to Misfits. I'm going to give Casaflutter a chance to come on out and get a win. Next, I do believe they're playing again, aren't they, Chaos, against Oblivion?
Yes, they're playing 2 games back to back, so they missed the Oblivion game last week. So Oblivion had a few issues, but yeah, they've agreed to play it in the second slot, so it's going to be challenging. 2 games back to back.
Yeah, especially against Oblivion. Now, Oblivion did 2 games back to back previously, and they played amazingly. They only dropped 1 game, so yeah, I'm going to give it to Oblivion Gaming on that one, just because I just think they're one of the best teams in the league. Yeah, I'm going to give a 3-0 to them on that one, because I think doing 2 sets back to back is tough. But then we come into the Sunday and we have my 2 co-casters here, Plush Keepers versus Arcade Aces. This is the battle for the ages, and I tell you what, I mean, Arcade Aces getting the 3-0 over them Ragnarok has put them up in my expectations. But Plush Keepers are so scrappy. You guys do not give up without a fight, so I don't know. I'm going to have to give the 2-1 to Arcade Aces, I think. Just because of how well they played in the previous week. But then we have Mem Ragnarok versus Batista's gang. And I think we've had Mem Ragnarok really being a bit hesitant in their gameplay. I don't think Batista's gang are going to be like that. They're going to capitalize on it. We're going to have a 3-0 Batista's gang in that one. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I guess for me, so we don't really know too much about Casaflutter. I mean, Kuro recommended them, told us they're a good team, and from what I've heard from them, they seem like a really solid team. Misfits, I'm going to go 2-1 Misfits just because I feel like they are still one of the strongest teams in the league. But like you saw with them against us, they took the 2-0 lead and then kind of memed for the 3rd game and gave us a bit of a pity point. So a similar thing might happen there. Oblivion, for me, it depends which roster they throw out because they've got pretty much 2 rosters that they play. They've got their first team and their second team. They go all out with their first team. I could see it being a 3-0, and I can see them 3-0ing pretty much anyone in the league. Then our game, I don't know, it's going to be tricky. I mean, I know we have a sub. I know you have a sub as well.
Yeah,
I'm going to say 2-1 to Plush Keepers on that one. And then Bautistas and Mem, yeah, I think that's a 3-0 to Bautistas gang.
All right, Kuro, run us through it, buddy. What are you predicting?
Okay. Casaflutter, Misfit are 2 great friends of mine, like the 2 teams I already friend with. I would say Misfit is more experienced, so maybe 2-1, because I know Casaflutter is gonna steal 1 game away from them.
Yeah.
Because they're really, really strong, reliant, and can be really surprising. Like they took game from us already, and they know what they're doing. The second game, I don't see them on the screen though.
Yeah,
So
it was a
which
new
team are they?
edition. It's Casa Flutter
Oh,
versus Oblivion Gaming.
oh, okay. Oof, this one's rough. Okay, I, I will support the team I recommend, so I can stay. I can keep some credibility. Let's stay with 2-1 for Casa Flutter.
Okay.
And it's gonna be really interesting game to watch. Like, really connect on your screen and watch them, people. For our game, it's really hard because like we have Etoile that is playing in the Belgium AOC team, so he won't be there. We have Shariking with playing with the Sweden. We have Sly Roxas that's also playing with Belgium, and Galant that's not here. She's traveling in America currently.
Do you even have a
So
team?
let me find the sub, and then maybe after I can tell you what's gonna be the result of this game. 'Cause for now I'm just scared. Worst case scenario, we're playing 3 against 5. Don't worry.
We'll still find a way to throw the game at Ray. It's fine.
Yeah, just
Plush
get
Keepers
Ray
is
and you're good.
currently looking for sub. Please send me a DM if you want to play this Sunday.
All right, well, give us Mem Ragnarok and Batista's gang.
Oh, I want to say Bautista gang. There, as you say, Ragnarok, depending on the yeah, I would say Bautista because I know what they are capable of. We fight against them, and they took 3 games from us, and I'm sure that they can do it again. Like they're a really strong team. Yeah, I would say against 2-1 because I still think Ragnarok can make a surprise in maybe the first game. Like the way I see it is Ragnarok winning the first game, but then Bautista will adapt and win the 2 last.
Alrighty, exciting games. All right, chat. So
Yeah,
tomorrow,
don't miss them.
Tomorrow, 7 CEST. I need to remember that it's not GMT where I currently am. And then Sunday, 7 CEST as well. Do not miss those games because they are going to be amazing. We will give you an update on where we currently are as a league after this weekend. We'll get a league table together for you. Give you an update because it's getting quite intense. It was quite close before the previous week. And I think there was some upsets, especially with Arcade Aces doing the 3-0. We've got a peaky little slow bro on the screen here trying to sneak into this podcast as well. I've got Nezuko here, we've got Pikachu here, we've got Gengar in the background. We've got all the plush. I could join Plush Keepers. I have that many plushes.
I mean, we need a sub Sunday.
We need a sub. Do you want to complain?
Just send me a DM.
But yeah, it's been a pleasure. We are going to end the podcast there. Kuro, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure having you on, buddy, and best of luck to Plush Keepers. You guys are absolutely cooking at the moment. But yeah, I've been SpartanTano, my good friend ChaoticEspeon. We've got Kuro here as well. We've got Slowbro. We've got Nezuko. It's been a pleasure. Have a good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, guys, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.